Good evening and welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann, alongside Alina Isaac.
Hello.
And today we have a special guest in the studio with us. He goes by the name of Stephen Wheeler.
That is me. That's how I pronounce it, yeah.
That's how you pronounce it?
That's how you pronounce it, yeah.
All right. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Very good, thank you.
What's
Excellent.
new? What you been up to?
Not much. Like I said, I'm from Boston, so I got down here yesterday. That's a hell of a drive, though, man. It really is. It's like 5 hours. Because I avoid the tolls. I'm cheap like that. I can't pay the toll. It's $10. But I end up paying more in gas going longer.
Wow. Are you a Patriots fan?
I am. Of course I am.
Jeez.
Of course, I know.
Jeez.
What are you guys, Jets or Giants?
Giants.
Giants?
You won't believe which kind of fan I am.
Bills?
Yeah, Buffalo Bills. There you go.
Okay. All right. I was like, there's a third one there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what got you into comedy? You're a comedian. What got you into comedy?
Well, I've always loved it, man. I did it. I started doing it when I was 16 in high school. So that was weird for me because you're starting so young, and everyone else in the game's like already like in their 20s, 30s, so established. But no, what really got me into it though is I just took that leap. I just put the right foot forward and just went into it, man. Never really looked back since. But
Are you full-time? A full-time comedian?
I was. Right now I'm doing a lot of producing. I'm focusing a lot on that right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, which, comedy led me into producing. One led for the other. So, it works. I do a lot of comedy still. I do a lot of shows when I can. I try to keep busy, especially because I host all my events that I produce.
Yeah, I was saying, you're producing live events?
Yes. Mostly comedy. A lot
Comedy.
of comedy shows.
Anything aside from comedy?
Well, I used to work with a band, a local band up in Massachusetts. I booked a lot of gigs for them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the only other really genre I went into.
So when you're producing your shows, are you also performing in your shows?
Yeah, like I said, I host most of them. Sometimes I'll get like a host in if I can find someone, but
Okay.
I like hosting because some of these people I get up, like they're like fresh off like late night or something like that. And I want to perform with these guys, I want to be on the
Right.
stage with them. So I like to host most of my own shows.
Nice. Do you do any shows outside of the New England, New York area? New York, is it?
Yeah, I usually work just the Northeast. I was last month. I just got back. I was out in Vegas area for like a month and a half. I did some like talent management out there, but I didn't really do too much performing. I hit a couple shows, nothing too big though. But mainly, like I said, I came back here because the work's so much more prosperous in New York for me at least. I think Vegas is where you go once you're established.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, wow. I was going to ask you about that. Where's the established place? Vegas?
I would say Vegas and LA. I think New York's where you come to, grind. You come to work in New York because it's so many shows all the time, like 24/7. You can get a show.
Yeah.
So
the rock band that you mentioned, that's a band that you known from like you're younger. How did
I
you,
actually
the
because
Late Show?
I'm not from the city of Boston. It's a suburb outside. No one's ever heard of it, so I just didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Everyone would have to go look it up. Like, what the hell is this place? But
Yeah.
no, they're actually pretty good friends of mine too. They're from a town over, and the band's called Monty's Lobster, which is an interesting name. But I'm telling you, these guys kick ass though, man. They have an old school sound, like a 70s style, 80s style,
Oh, okay.
like power rock. They're a trio, and like I said, they're good friends of mine. And I went to a show one time, and I asked them, I was like, "Do you guys have any shows coming up after this? I'd love to see it." And they're like, "No, no one sets up our shows." And right there, I was like, you guys want to work together? So
Right.
after that, we started working, and I started booking them a lot of shows, and that was a lot of fun, though. But sometimes I'd like bring them up, do a little shtick, but comedy and music are kind of hard to put together. You really have to vibe it nice, but
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to do. So I would just go up and say, "Here they are," and just bring them right up.
How do you find your comedy acts?
How do I find them? Well, I work with a couple bookers. I have a guy in Rhode Island I work with, a couple people here in New York and Boston, too. So a lot of times what I do, I'll just get in touch with them and say, I'm available this month. Are there any shows coming up?
Right.
I can hop on. And usually they'll just give me a list and say, which one do you want to hop on?
Right.
So that's usually the way I get it, is just email people, call people, and just say, this is when I'm free to come in.
And how did you discover your passion for comedy?
What's that?
How did you discover your passion for comedy?
Well, I mean, I've never been like a class clown or anything, so it's not anything like that. It's just, I think just growing up watching so much comedy.
Watch comedy, yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I mean, there's so many.
So many.
I grew up watching like so many old school ones. Like my parents brought me up on like Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay. Name sounds familiar, but I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, he's
okay.
like the guy, like old guy one-liners, stuff like that. So that's what I came into like learning. But I mean, there's so many comedians now that I just love. I mean, I've always been such a Sandler guy. Love Sandler.
Okay, yeah.
That whole crew. I mean, like Chris Farley, huge.
Farley, yeah.
That whole generation. It's hard to narrow one down. I don't want to pick one because I'm gonna come back later and say, no, actually he's my favorite. You know, I like this one better, or she's the best. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to decide.
So what was like your first time on stage? What was that like? Your first experience?
That was very awkward. It was very weird. It was actually, believe it or not, first time I ever performed was at like 2 a.m. at a charity event. Yeah, I don't even know how I got that gig, honestly. I don't think of it. It's like, how do you 2 a.m. performing? Like they had to like wake people up to like.
Wow.
It was one of those like walks for like cancer or something, like they do like all night, and like people were like sleeping in tents, and like people would go around and be like comedy show, and people were like sleeping, just coming out. It was fun though. I mean, people laughed. It was I was nervous as all hell, but it was fun though. I did like all one-liners. I just like drilled them off so quick. I was so scared, just trying to get it out there. But no, it was. And after that, I just realized, you know, once you go on there and you kind of. Sometimes if you just like pretend you know what you're doing, look like you know what you're doing, people think you know what you're doing. So
right.
So it's easy that way, I guess.
How would you describe your humor?
I think probably like really observational. I like to think of myself.
My favorite.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Nice.
like
It's a good
That's what we
humor.
talked about. Right. Yeah.
very good humor. Because it's everyday humor. You know, you can find the humor in anything with observational humor. You just pick something out.
Right.
One thing I did like to do also was like improv. I like to. I didn't do like improv shows, but sometimes I go up like without a set if I was hosting or something like that, and I go up and I'd kind of just like wing it, honestly. Maybe talk with the audience, play around like that.
Right.
And that goes 50-50. That goes either north or south, man. You know, it's
Right.
Yeah.
it's never just mediocre. It's either really bad or you're killing it.
Where do you
With
get your inspiration for your humor?
I mean, probably just honestly just everyday life, really, because I mean, my friends there. I mean, I think everybody's funny. You know, I don't even think I'm the funniest one. Like all my friends, I think just being around, you know, my family too, where everybody just being around such a funny atmosphere.
Your family's funny?
Yeah, family's interesting. I guess.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Every
Yeah,
family's
right.
funny, though, aren't they? No, they're good people. They're good people. They're a good family. But no, they're funny. Just the typical like wacky family stuff, I guess. I don't know. Something
Oh,
happens.
there you go. Do you write your own routines?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. That's probably my favorite part too. Is just trying to think of stuff that goes together so well. Like I like to think of sets that can even just be on like one topic. You know, like a whole set, and do like 7-10 minutes of that if that's my slot. Sometimes it's totally different. You know, not
Right.
the same at all. But
Do you stay away from certain topics? Like certain topics are no. Like some
Oh,
people stay away
yeah,
from
yeah.
politics. And
What are
Yeah.
those topics?
I don't touch politics, religion. I mean anything like that. I mean I know some comics do and they're really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
I know.
I don't think I could.
I hear you.
I don't like to get into politics, you know. Because I don't know much about it, so it's like I'm gonna go up there and look like an idiot. You know.
So you stay away from the whole President Trump, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
all
I
that. Yeah.
never touched that. Like, you know, everyone had like back when Obama was in, had Obama jokes. Now they got
Obama jokes,
plenty
yeah.
of Trump jokes.
Trump jokes now.
Plenty of Trump jokes now. But no, yeah, I don't. I try not to touch that.
How often are you writing your jokes?
It's very skewed, I guess, my writing schedule, because it's very whenever it comes to me, really. Sometimes I'll try to like get myself to sit down and write, but when you do that, you can't come up with stuff. I
That
found
writer's block.
Yeah, because you're trying to force yourself to do it, and you can't
Yeah, I
think
can
of stuff
definitely
like
see
that.
Right.
But yeah, I guess a lot of times I feel like good ideas and good jokes come to me in like the worst moments, like where I can't write them down. You're like in the car or something like that, and it's like, oh, that's perfect, and I'll forget it too. So it's like trying to like write behind the wheel when I'm driving. But
Have you ever blacked out on? No, I say blacked out. You say like blanked out, meaning to say like you got on stage and
Right.
you just
blacked out. Just
Yeah.
no, I've never. Blanked. Yeah,
You
no.
blanked out,
I was still
yeah.
thinking of blacked out. I was like, no, never blacked out.
Not blacked out.
Never blacked
Not
out on
passed
stage.
out.
Yeah, no. I have definitely blanked. Yeah, for sure.
But people like don't laugh at your jokes. How does that happen? Because that's what makes
Right.
you
That's
know,
what'll make you.
you blank out. Yeah,
exactly.
Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah.
And how do you handle that situation?
Well, at first, when that first happens, that's the weirdest thing ever. You just want to get off the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Wow,
almost just
yeah.
want to just put the mic down and just leave. But you almost have to address it. You know, man up to it. I guess you have to
Yeah.
kind of just say like, oh, well, that sucked. You know, maybe that'll get a laugh out of them or something. But a lot of times I just try to move on. If I know a laugh's not coming, I'll just get quick into the next joke.
Yeah.
Just like get that one behind me and just try to win them over with something else.
Have you ever had like a really bad crowd that just does not laugh at anything you say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What does that feel like? Are you feeling discouraged? Like what?
Yeah, it's weird
How
because
was that?
there was one show I did back I think I was like probably like 17, like back when I first year I did it, like second year I did it. There was a place I did, in Mass. I think it was like Rentham or something. It was a pub, and nobody was listening. Just nobody. It was like an open mic. It wasn't even specifically comedy. But like when I got up there, everybody was talking. I think there's one lady, like drunk mom at the bar, like looking and like, oh, yeah, he's doing pretty good. Nobody was having it though. Like,
Wow.
when I got off, like 2 guys like applauded because I was getting off. Like they were probably like, get out of here, man. Like we don't want this. But no, it's awful. It's the weirdest feeling.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But then you know you have to have those shows though, because if you go for so long without having that show,
Yeah.
and then you get on stage after thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
I've done 30 shows and I've killed it, and then 31 it's like
Yeah, I can imagine. Your confidence gets here, and then all of a sudden, it just boom,
hit rock bottom. Yeah.
And sometimes people never recover from that.
No, and they never want to get on stage
Never
again.
get on stage
They're
again.
like, I'm done, totally done. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
confidence level just.
yeah.
So, what's your worst bombing story? Like you got on stage and
Oh man,
just bombed out.
maybe that one, honestly. Now that I think of it, because
Is that your first one?
no, that wasn't my first show.
Oh.
No.
Oh, the first one was a charity event. You did.
Yeah,
You rocked it out. Yeah.
Yeah, the early morning hours of
Yeah.
comedy. Not a good time to have comedy, by the way. No one wants to wake up and laugh.
Yeah.
But no, that was probably the worst bombing story. Because like I said, I mean, the bar wasn't even like that packed. Because nobody was listening.
Okay.
It was just.
So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I guess, but I felt like I was getting like 30 looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
my
the weirdest thing is like, just because like like my dad was there, I was like so young. He's like recording me up front, and like people are probably like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here, man? Like, is this kid just coming here to do this himself, or like?
Yeah.
But it's just it's almost belittling. But once you get off stage, you just gotta realize it's gonna happen. It's any entertainer, really. I mean, musicians too. They'll go on stage, have a bad set. But that's what builds you, I guess.
Yeah.
It brings you back.
Stronger. Yeah, definitely.
Do you get nervous before your shows?
Oh, every show, yeah.
Oh, wow.
What do you do to cope with it?
I smoke a lot of weed. No, I try to just honestly, I try to just get in the zone. I try to just really say, these people are here to watch a show. They're here to watch you. Get on there, be confident. You got to own the stage. The cliche stuff. You got to tell yourself you don't suck that bad. Just be like, get on there. But I really just try. Yeah, I try to just talk myself into it. Really, and because I don't want to go up there looking like like a stiff, just not ready for it. I want people. I want to go up there and people are like, oh, he's ready to. Even if it's a bad joke, I want to play it off good.
Play it off.
I want to make it look like I meant to do that. That's cool.
So with the hecklers, how do you deal with hecklers? People,
Thankfully, I haven't had too many. Nothing like too bad. People will shout stuff out.
Yeah.
But that's where I like to tie in improv. You'll just say something back, or you'll get them involved to a point where they don't have anything to say left, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a big guy, huh? Mess with them just a little bit. But I've never had anything too bad, thankfully. I mean, we've all seen videos of bad hecklers. Those are hard to watch, man.
For sure.
No one wants that.
People get drunk and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people get aggressive. Really, like I said, not with me, thankfully, but some people are get mad about it. It's like, why are you at a comedy show then? You're pissed off, man. Don't get out of here,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Are your jokes child friendly?
I could probably write a few that are child friendly. I'm
Generally not.
No, not typically. No,
You curse a lot, basically.
a good amount, a fair amount.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to hold it back sometimes because when you get in the groove, you just want to be like, f this, f that. I don't know if I can say it on here, so I don't want to say it.
Right.
But yeah, it's like you just want to. And sometimes it sounds better, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of people actually prefer comedians who don't swear.
Is there a comedian that doesn't really swear but's funny that you know of?
Yeah. Brian Regan. Do you know Brian Regan?
No, I'm not too familiar. He's
definitely dad humor. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like dad funny. But he's actually pretty funny though. It doesn't swear at all.
I love dad humor.
Yeah, sometimes
That
it's the best
sounds great.
stuff because it's so cheesy. It makes you laugh.
Yeah, because you figure a lot of comedians they curse a lot. They curse up a storm, so
And that's their whole set.
The
Yeah.
whole set. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people just go up there and they'll just talk about sex too, and it's that's almost the same thing. It's some people just don't want to hear that,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do. Not every joke has a swear though. It's just occasionally I'll tie one. And probably most sets will have one though. I would imagine.
So your jokes now, right? If you catch someone stealing your joke,
Yeah.
is that a big no-no in the business?
It absolutely is.
And what do you do if you catch someone?
Well, I'm actually trying to remember. I remember I did a show one time in Boston at Laugh Boston.
Yeah.
And I had performed there a couple times. That's a really good venue, but a lot of good people go in there.
In Boston?
Laugh Boston, yeah.
Okay.
It's right in the Seaport District downtown. But I went on stage, and it was a good show, and whatever. So I went over to the bar area, not to drink. I wasn't even old enough at the time,
Right.
but just hanging out. It's kind of where comedians would hang out after their set, and besides the green room. And I was over there, and I hear one of the kids on stage, and the one joke I tune into was a joke that I said, like, not tonight, like that night,
Right.
but it was like a while ago, and I remember I was like pissed off. I was like, I didn't confront him or anything, but because that would have been weird. Like, you stole my joke. Then he would have been like, no, you stole my joke. You know, and nobody knows who I am or he is. So it would have just been a battle like that.
Back
But
and forth, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely not something you do because you know, people work you know, like hard on that. People
Right.
want to have, you know, get their own style down, get their own jokes like patent, I guess, you know. So you don't want to go out there and take credit for someone else's humor.
I guess people do that because they probably figure, oh, I can steal it. And he's not going to be here, not knowing that you were
Right,
going to be
right.
there that night.
Right, not thinking I was going to hear it at all, and he's like, oh, that's a good joke.
So
You
you've
probably-
never stolen anybody's jokes?
I
Or sometimes some people do it word for word, but then some
Right.
people just change it up just a
yeah,
little bit.
I've taken the only thing that I've taken, which I've asked. There's a guy I work with in Rhode Island who has a really good opener,
Okay.
and it's just a really funny way to introduce yourself. So I've like reiterated it a little bit, you know, I've changed it up a little bit, but I like to start that off when I host the show.
Yeah.
It's what I usually do is he started. His name's John Parado. He's a pretty funny guy. He's work a lot with him up there. But what you do when you get on stage, you pretend like if I'm hosting the show, I get up there first and I'll say, you know, I'm gonna bring up your host now and then name off all my credits as if it's not me though. I say it like in third person,
Right.
and then I kind of like, you know, like wave him on and I'll like walk off and then walk right back on and be like, all right, I'm your host tonight. Like, so you know, I'm thinking, so people are like, oh,
Okay.
you got us, you know. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
yeah, yeah.
Good one.
Like if I'm wearing a hat or something, like what I'll do is if I'm wearing it forward, like then I'll walk over and turn it backwards as if I'm a different guy and come over and like.
Wow.
yeah. But no, yeah, that's the only thing I just thought that was such a good bit, and I was like, do you mind if I do that when I go down there? He was like, yeah, and obviously I changed it up a little bit, but no, I think that's the only joke I've stolen. A lot of jokes are similar, so I'm sure people think I've stole their jokes, but as far as I know, I haven't. I don't think I have.
So, people often talk about how comedians are actually sad and depressed. Can you
Right.
talk a little bit about that? Like, what are your experiences with that? Would that be an accurate assessment?
Honestly, I would say so. I mean, I think everybody's pretty depressed, you know, kind of on the inside. You know, not everybody's, you know, like upset. Depressed. I think. All right, well, there's your answer. No, but I think yes, because comedians a lot of times will find the humor in the worst of things.
Right.
You know, like if something like happened, whereas in the moment it's momentarily just so frustrating and like demeaning. It's like you want to find humor in that. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write a bit about this, and then people will laugh about, which is what a lot of comedians do. Is like they'll take moments that they've had where, you know, it's been such a bad moment or devastating, even like, you know, like, for example, like someone died or something, like comedians make a joke about that, and like they'll make like a joke about, like I've heard comedians make jokes about like their parents dying or something.
Oh, wow.
And like people will laugh though, because like these people come up there and like they'll turn around and just make a zinger out of it. You know, they'll like say something and then boom, left turn, and then they're like, oh, okay, that's funny. But I don't make jokes about depressing shit, but no, I'm not too sad of a person. You know, I like to think of myself as
Yeah,
more
I've heard
happy.
about
So I'm
that.
definitely
How
not.
about your comedian friends, would you say?
See, I don't really see them like behind closed doors
Okay.
like that. I guess. Like, I mean, most people seem like they're on the surface. You know, they seem like they're. But I've definitely worked with a lot of depressing people. A lot of like just depressing to watch. Honestly, like when people get on stage and some of them, you know, they're just like so belittling to themselves.
Like
Yeah.
self-deprecating?
Yeah, and I hate seeing that because it's like, why are you just trashing on yourself on stage? Like, and don't trash on someone else either. I'm not saying that, but it's like, people will just go up there and they're like, oh, I'm a piece of crap, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not funny, man.
Do you think
Like,
it stems from a place of insecurity about themselves?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. I can't imagine that guy would get off stage and be the happiest guy around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I guess that's what happened with Dave Chappelle. He just went crazy. I mean, I don't know what happened, you know, but he didn't Netflix offer him like a big deal or something like that.
Yeah.
$1 million or something like that.
Yeah, he definitely got a hell
Or
of a
more.
deal.
Yeah, but he turned it down, and I think he went to some kind of rehab or something. I don't know what the exact.
I
story
feel like
was.
that's a pattern with comedians, though. You're always
Yeah, I've
hearing
heard
things
about
like
that,
that
yeah.
in the news about them, like
Yeah.
doing drugs or alcohol. Or
Yeah.
on stage you're
rehab or
one way,
something.
and then off stage you're like, oh.
They're depressed,
Yeah.
they're suicidal, they're all this stuff. And
And I guess
I hope you're not like that.
no, yeah. I guess a reason for that, a reason I've always thought is because when you get on stage and you have a great show, you know, like that's the best feeling in the world. You know, when you get on stage and you have like 100 people laughing, like 200 people laughing, it's like, wow, I killed it, you know.
Yeah.
But then when you get off stage and you don't have that feeling, it's like it's almost like that high. You
Get
know,
off that high,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's like then you're back at low, and then it's like, oh, this sucks again. Like, not that I feel like that, but that's probably why people feel like that, because they go up there and they want to get their high of getting people laughing. You know what I'm saying? And like, getting that reaction out of people. And I feel like when you go up there and you do that, and then you get off the stage and it's total opposite, just like nobody around, nobody laughing. It's just you in your car driving home that night. It's like probably just a lot of time to think, like, you don't feel it anymore. So I can totally see where why that would be a reason for comedians to be pretty depressed outside.
So what's the worst types of crowd to perform for?
Probably bars, honestly.
Bars?
I think
people get what?
Why
They
bars?
get drunk?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think about.
I mean, a lot of times, because a lot of shows at bars, there are some shows at bars that are established,
Right.
But a lot of them are like open mics, more so. And a lot of people who come in to drink don't really want to see an open mic, for the most part. Sometimes they don't care, but so usually they're just not paying attention. So that's probably the main reason why it's probably the worst place to perform, is because nobody's really listening to you. So it's just, you're just going on stage and just
Like rambling on.
rambling on for nobody for 5 minutes, and then you
Oh,
get off,
God.
and then
It's my worst nightmare.
So yeah, probably I would say probably bars or something of that sort, like some venue that's not lined up for stand-up comedy for the
And
most
what would be
part.
the best place for comedy?
Probably just your typical comedy clubs, I'd say.
Where they're
because,
coming for the
comedy
comedy.
clubs.
Where
Right,
they're
right,
coming for a laugh.
Coming
you
for a
know
laugh.
what you're coming
You know what
for.
you're coming for,
Yeah,
right?
You can't be
Alright.
mad if you're going to a comedy club, and
Okay.
like that's what you want to go for. But
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what's the biggest audience you perform for? Like, and any Madison Square Garden kind of? No, yeah.
Not yet.
sold
Not
out
yet.
Shea Stadium in '86, actually. Yeah. No, I would say I've probably touched about 100 people.
I mean, not Madison Square Garden, but something like that big. Anything like
No,
that big,
no.
not
I've never.
in New England.
No, I haven't done any like big stages like that. I've done some of the venues I do are like a couple hundred seats.
Oh, that's still
It's
pretty
pretty
decent.
good.
Yeah, that's pretty
size,
good.
yeah,
100,
good,
yeah.
good size. And I probably the most I've performed in front of was probably on a show in Boston, which was the Tony V show. He's a guy, a performer up there. He does a lot in movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he did a lot of shows, and a lot of times that would sell out too. It was a Wednesday night too, which is weird enough because it's like that's in the middle of the week. But there was one night there was definitely over 100 people. I'd say probably like pushing 120, 130 maybe. And it was
okay.
a lively night, beautiful night, middle of summer. So it was like everyone was just into it, and everyone was feeling
That's a
it
good
too.
crowd.
Very good crowd. It was a very good crowd.
Wow, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's fun too because it kind of almost is easier to go in front of a lot of people than opposed to not a lot of people. And the reason with that is because if you got like one person laughing, the next guy's bound to laugh. You know, like if the guy next one's about to laugh, and then it's going to keep going. So it's
Like a mob mentality.
Yeah, it's contagious. Really, laughter's contagious. So even if it's mediocre, you can make a mediocre set. Kill. You can do awesome with a mediocre set in front of 300 people.
So is it something like, all right, you have that one person that's always laughing at your jokes. Do you tend to look at that person all the time and try to gain confidence? Because
Right.
you're telling a joke and there's one person that's just looking at you like,
Yep.
dude, you're not funny.
Oh yeah.
That'll just
And that person always seems to be right up
right up
too,
front,
right in
So
the front
do,
road. Looking
do you
right
kind
at
of
Awful
like avoid
person.
that person, or do you like?
yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what kind of mood I'm in, really. Like
You
if
need to find somebody. When I was doing, like I said, I was doing acting a little bit. They said try to find somebody that's interested in just looking at you in the crowd and just
Right.
giving you that look, like
Yep.
So do you try to find someone in the audience that that's really feeling your energy
I'll-
and feed off of that?
Yeah, I'll tend to at least look towards that part of the
Like,
audience.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I'll obviously try to avoid. Sometimes if there's like someone right up front. Like I remember when I also did a show at Laugh Boston, there was a guy right up front. The speaker was right in front of him, pretty much, and he just wasn't having the show. And I kind of came up. I was like going on towards the end, and I went over like right towards the speaker. And after I finished my joke, I looked down at him, and I just like made a joke about how the speaker was like right in his ear. And I was like, "That's why you're not laughing, man." I was like, "You're deaf. You can't hear a thing." So it's like I'll try to like pick on people. Like I got a smile out of them, but it's like not much more than that. But you try to include them sometimes. Be like, have a good time, man. If you want to, if you want to talk to people
Sure.
like that. But it's good to feed off people who are definitely digging your style.
We asked our last guest one time. Some comedians are really good where they just don't have anything written down. They just come in and just look into the audience and just start picking on people and
Yep.
just
That
making up jokes.
improvisation.
Yeah, it's great. Some people are so good at it. too.
Yeah,
I don't know
for
how. That's a talent. There's some things you can just something will come up where you think and it's like you can do
Just
like
boom.
one bit.
Can you do that?
Are you quick on your feet?
I like to think so. I like to think sometimes I'm quick on my feet.
And go.
No,
This is a test.
7. I don't know. No, yeah, I like to. A lot of times, I'll like to when I do hosting. I like to improv because get the audience involved. If you're the host, I feel like that's kind of your job. Get the audience involved.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost. So I like to do improv when I'm hosting sometimes. That's fun to do.
I'm going to say a few words, and you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how funny they are.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, they're phrases.
Okay, shoot.
Pie to the face.
Pie to the face.
Pie to the face.
Scale 1 to 10. I'll give that a 5. That's right in the middle. That's
Okay.
it's classic, but it's old, you know.
People falling.
It depends who's falling. I'll give that 6. You know, because sometimes someone funny might be falling.
Okay. Baby laughing.
And you know, that's kind of funny. I'll give that. That'll make me laugh for sure. Seeing a baby laugh.
You have to say a
7.
number.
7.
Baby farting.
Oh, that's a 10. Are you kidding me?
Ready for the last one?
Go ahead.
Poop.
Unless it's baby poop, I don't know. That's funny. Nah.
We need a number, sir.
Poop. Let me see. Poop's at 4. I'll give poop a 4.
Poop?
Yeah,
A 4?
yeah.
Nesta, what do you think? Poop is pretty funny.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I never grew out of toilet humor, so I love it.
No.
Yeah.
what would you rate poop? What do you give poop?
A
Out of
10
what?
and a half.
Really?
Wow.
Top in the charts there with poop.
I think poop is hilarious. You could do so much with that. You could just run with it.
Oh yeah, people definitely do sets all about poop.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I was a comedian, I'd probably talk a lot about poop.
Have a whole set about poop, huh?
Do you know? Do you have your set up already? Like in terms of, all right, tonight I'm gonna talk about this.
Right.
Tomorrow, how does that work? Does it
Yeah,
work like that?
yeah, pretty
Like
much.
she's just poop. You say, all right, I'm gonna talk about poop tonight.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, everyone's different the way
If
they.
it's just
they
one
set it
topic
up, yeah.
that you have for the night and just go off of it, or do you?
Yeah, sometimes I'll do like a couple topics. I like to do at least multiple jokes in a topic though, so it's not just one joke about a topic then move on. So I'll usually like bracket it. The way I write it is like I'll do like one topic, another topic, and then like in that topic I'll just like jot down the jokes. So I'll try to like like dance around those categories for a little while.
Right.
But yeah, that's the way I do is I'll usually just pick topics and talk about those.
And do you have you found yourself in a situation where you've changed that? And I mean, that's the game plan going into.
Yeah.
Sure.
You change it up according
Like,
to
are
the
you
audience.
reading the crowd? when
Yeah,
you're coming
right.
in?
Yeah, no,
right.
that-
So
that-
that might be the game plan,
Right.
but then the audience might be like,
Right.
"Oh, this doesn't seem like it's gonna work."
They're like,
so,
go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
But no way.
So have you had to go back to the drawing board right there on the spot?
Yeah, on stage. Yeah, no, for sure. Because sometimes you'll notice, like if you come out with the opener is the biggest thing. Is you got to come out open
Yeah,
with
I
something
can
strong.
imagine,
Because
yeah.
if not, you lose them immediately.
Really? Yeah.
So if you come out with like a bad opener, you got to know it's like, okay, well, anything on that category, they're not liking that right now. So I got to evacuate all my jokes. I've never really had to get rid of like a whole set when I've gone on stage. I've definitely, like I said, plenty of bits that have not gone good. Every comedian's had bits that just are god awful. Like you almost look back at them, and you're like, why did I?
Yeah.
Like what was I? That's not, I don't even think that's funny. Why did I?
Just sometimes when I see everyone laughing, I'm like, I didn't get that joke.
Right.
Because I guess you have to like understand, who he's talking about or
Yeah,
the
and
topic,
sometimes
you know.
that's part of it being contagious too. Is sometimes people laugh and they don't even think it's funny.
Think
They
it's
just hear
funny.
other people
Yeah,
laughing.
laughing,
and
yeah.
they're just laughing for no reason. They just want to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Club owners, how do you deal with them? I've heard situations where club owners kind of stick up the comedian as far as money pain wise.
Yeah, I've never really had.
Do you have an agent?
No, I don't. Because the reason I don't because I do a lot of producing, like I said, so I do a lot of booking. So I like to book myself pretty much. Like, so I work close with club owners, with bookers and stuff like that. I've never really had too much trouble. I've had people immediately turn you down, like if they don't want a show coming in or they're not looking for entertainment or something like that. If you're trying to pitch the idea, but I've also had. Last night I was up at we stayed in Long Island for the night.
Okay.
And we were up at the 4 Point Sheridan. They have a bar up there. And the owner of the bar was actually right over there. There's no one up there. And me and my buddy, who's actually on my team, part of my production team, we were just down pitching the show. And I was talking to the bartender, and I was like, where's everybody tonight? I was like, is there a show and stuff like that? And we started talking. I was talking about how I did comedy and producing. And the bar owner, like a few seats over, comes over, and we start talking. And he was saying, like, yeah, I want to do shows, but, I can't have them in. It's always too loud. And I just said, what about comedy? And he immediately, nicest guy too, very nice. We exchanged cards, and so we were talking like that, and he was saying, if you can bring comedy here, I'd love that. So I'm hoping to even, land that spot now. But so it's off and on, sometimes you'll get people like that who are just so easy to work with, like off the bat, you're like, wow, this is easy. He's a good guy to work with.
Sure.
And then sometimes off the bat, you're like, this is going to be hard to work with this guy. But, sometimes you have to make it work, though, a lot of the time.
Definitely,
because there's so many people in the industry like that. They're just jerks, straight up frontmen. I mean, because nobody has the time of day for it, They
Right.
don't want to give you the time of day in the industry. So it's hard. People are all different. Club owners are And obviously, I try to work with the good ones. I like
Yeah.
to, but
They say there's certain tricks that club owners use in terms of letting the comedian get a lot of drinks and foods and then
Right.
charge them later.
yeah,
for the
yeah, oh yeah,
tab.
yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, that happens. That like if you'll go over to the bar, like sometimes they'll make it seem like it's on the house,
Right,
Because
there
they'll
you
just
go.
like give it to you, so you're like, oh, okay, well I'm performing, so I get a free
Yeah.
drink, and then later on, it's like, say if your pay was like $50 for a night, wherever, he gives you like the money, then takes back the 10. Oh, you had food too, takes back the 20,
Wow.
stuff like that. But
Yeah,
That's cheap.
yeah.
It's
Some
pretty trick.
Cheapo.
some people like
I'm
that.
not coming
And-
back there.
yeah, no, and some people,
Yeah.
some of them are good. Some of them will give you food on the house or drinks on the house, and they'll
Yeah.
still pay you for it. But
Oh wow, yeah.
yeah,
that's-
some of them are definitely cheapos because they want to take home money too. If they're setting up, they want to make the big bucks behind it, I guess.
Would you say generally it's easy or hard in the business to break through in the business?
Oh, definitely very hard.
Very
Definitely
hard.
Very hard. I haven't even broke through. I'm trying to so hard.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
would imagine.
It's
What
no.
are some of the challenges that arise?
Just I guess trying to keep the reputation because
Mm-hmm.
you want to keep doing it because that's what's going to make it in the end. Is you hear everyone who's up at that level at the top, they're like, just keep doing it, keep grinding, keep
Mm-hmm.
grinding. But it's like once you do it for so long and then you see no progression at some points,
Wow.
and then some points it takes one day and you so much progression. Like you land a gig somewhere or do this, but then you do it for a couple months and nothing.
Nothing.
So it's hard to keep doing it sometimes because I guess that's probably the hardest part is just keeping at it because sometimes it gets frustrating because when you're trying to
Sure.
do something you want to see the progression, but when you're not seeing progression you're just like it's not worth it.
How often do you get gigs? Like,
Well, like I said, I'm doing a lot of producing now, so not recently, but back like 2016, 2017, I did a lot of comedy. Like I was doing like consistent comedy. So I was trying to do like at least 3-4 shows a week. Sometimes I do like 2 shows a night. Sometimes I do like 7
wow.
shows a week. Yeah, it was.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, you got to keep at it quite a bit. And sometimes, I mean, you can't always get like good shows. So you got to settle for open mic. Sometimes you got to settle for small showcases. But if you start doing that, these club owners notice your work and you're doing that. So a lot of times, what I would do is I'd try to get like one decent show every like 2 weeks or so. And then tell myself like, okay, do so many shows like open mics or showcases before that show just to get ready for it. So you can get a show any day of the week being an entertainer. There's always entertainment, especially here in New York City. I mean, there's always stuff
yeah.
going on, like open mics especially. But yeah, I mean, I would always, when I was doing it, I was trying to at least keep busy. Like at least 3 a week I would keep. Maybe 4 a week I would try to do at that time, yeah.
how many performances did it take for you to feel like you felt comfortable? Like I've got this under control.
I still don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. See, that's what reacts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people still don't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
After
it's-
doing so
No,
many years.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting more comfortable doing it. But it takes a while. Definitely quite a few shows. I would
Yeah.
say probably after you touch like once you get fairly into the double digits, you got to do it like at least so many times to get the feel of it, just the hang of it, getting on stage.
And do you feel you need that one big bad show to actually be in between the good ones as well? Like you said, we talked about it earlier. Yeah. You at least need 1 or 2 of those.
Right, yeah. No, you definitely need bad shows for
Yeah.
sure, which is weird to say because it's like you don't want
Yeah, you don't want it. Yeah.
You need them. You need bad shows.
And why do you need them?
It helps you build. It helps you build.
yeah.
Because if you get to that point, like say you do comedy for years, right? Which is I don't think any comedian's ever not had a bad show who's famous
Yeah.
right now. Say someone did though, you get on TV, have a bad show, you're done. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just like, oh, I had all these great shows, then I got on TV and I bombed. It's like, oh, now I'm done. Or you get in front of this big crowd and you bomb. It's like you've never felt that before, and you have to have at least felt that in the building stages of starting in the industry.
Sure.
You have to feel the defeat before you can feel the glory, I guess.
What's the average set like?
Set length?
Set length.
I mean, probably ranges anywhere. On like showcases, it's anywhere from like 5 to 10.
5 to
Really?
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like when you do headline slots, it's like 30 minutes, hour.
30 minutes an hour?
The longest slot I did, I think, was like, I think it was a little over 30 when I headlined in Framingham in Massachusetts for a show, and I think I did like 37 minutes or something.
Wow, that's
And
a
there's
lot,
A
though.
lot of rambling on.
Did-
Do you
this-
memorize a lot for
yeah.
those shows?
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
ask him.
yeah. And the thing
You
is,
must have a good memory.
well, once I was like 6 or 7 minutes in, I started to run out of material almost. Because I was just
God.
jolting it off, and I was like, "Oh, this is easy." I was like, just all my material, and then you're like, "Oh
Uh-oh.
crap!" You're like,
Everything
Imagine.
left. Yeah.
"Hey, look at that over there," and then try to think of
Yeah.
something. But, yeah, no, you definitely have to have a strong memory, or at least be quick on your feet, or try to
I
be.
was gonna ask you for longer shows. How do you like memorize your material? Notes.
I mean, yeah, I get, well, yeah, like the way I jot them down typically is good for me to remember because I like bracket it. So I'll just remember like the way I drew or like wrote down like the topic, and then I'll like I can like almost like see like the jokes in that topic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll like almost like take a picture like in my head of the set, just so I can like remember. Maybe even like write in like different colors or like stands out more. Just anything to really keep it in your head for long sets. But you do. I think any comedian also has to improv so much on stage, even just any show, because something's gonna happen that's not gonna go your way, or it goes too much your way. Whereas you're like, oh, I'm just gonna keep going, you know.
Yeah.
But so that also takes up time too. Just goofing around like that takes up more time than you think. And then your set's over and you didn't even finish, and you're like, oh, time to get out of here.
You try to let time go on, like drag it up a little bit.
Yeah.
sometimes.
But sometimes you end up like they'll give you the light, and it's like you've already performed for too long, and it's like, oh, well,
I need.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like,
you bring out your best jokes yet.
yeah, it's like, oh, damn it, I was talking about poop the whole time. And
Yeah.
it's like now I gotta get out of here.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah. So that happens too.
But do they tell you how much time you have before you go on? Or no?
Yeah, they do. They'll always tell you how much time.
So how do you do that? You have to focus on your jokes.
Yeah.
And then monitor and watch your time.
Yeah, what they'll do
Unless
is-
they have like a clock. There.
Yeah,
You
they
have-
have. Well, they usually have like a light in the
light.
back corner or something. It's usually a red light, or if it's like a smaller club, they'll use their cell phone and they'll just like wave it, like wave the light. But yeah, it's very cheap. Sometimes sometimes they have very low budgets with that. But that's how you know. Usually when the light goes off, you have like 30 seconds to a minute left. So it pretty much means wrap up and get off stage. But yeah, it's usually probably like around 5 minutes. Some clubs will like have it at showcases. It'll be like set every 5 minutes. It'll go off to bring on the next comic. Like if there's a lot of comics going on, stuff like that. But
So when you're producing your shows, are you the guy with the cell phone telling your
yeah, I guess
fellow
I guess I
comics
am.
to
Yeah, I guess I am.
beat it?
Thankfully, some of the clubs like down here, like clubs are more established. You know, like in Manhattan alone, they're more established. So they'll have like the light. So someone working with the club will usually stay there and get that set up. But yeah, sometimes I am that guy waving like a maniac in the
Oh, you're
back.
that
Like, get
guy.
off stage! Get off stage! Get out of here! Some people go way over too. That's the thing.
yeah?
And then what do you
Yeah.
do?
What do you do with it
Do you
when
like
they go
actually
over?
go on stage and drag
No,
them off at that point?
you want to so bad. And obviously
Maybe
you're,
you should.
Yeah, obviously I'm in the back. Like, I get off. You know, I got to get up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get up there.
So it's a good idea or a bad idea for a comedian to have a couple of drinks before he goes on. Not that good, because some people might use it to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah,
but then
I guess it
when
depends
you're-
on
when
who
you
you.
get when you get intoxicated, you could,
Yeah, I've noticed with myself personally. I'll maybe have like a beer or something before I go on, because unless I'm opening, because I'll have to go on immediately.
right.
But when you're waiting for people, you want to have a drink or something. But it's definitely not good to get drunk
Not
before
good
you
to
go on
get drunk,
stage,
yeah.
because then you just ramble on.
Ramble on and become a ramble.
Unless that's your bit, you're just going on and being a drunk guy or a drunk girl, and then that's funny, I guess. There you go, get drunk before you go on.
Some
Right.
people maybe they get something into the zone. Some people
Right.
just get
It's like
drunk.
a social
Yeah.
lubricant for some. I think.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it definitely is. It definitely is.
But you're a very wholesome comedian. You don't
like
do
it.
stuff like that.
No. I'm very pure.
You're pure.
A very pure comedian.
So where do you plan on going from here, taking it from here? Like, what are your plans for the future?
My plans for the future, like I said, I'm really trying to get established with producing and booking and stuff like that. I have my my company. It's just Stephen Wheeler Presents is what we roll with, and we book a lot of shows. So I'm really trying to get that established, whereas I can get my foot in working with a lot more managers, producers, agents, that kind of stuff, clubs. So I'm really hoping to progress a lot. We actually just landed. I brought a flyer here for you guys too.
Okay,
We just landed
cool.
a gig at Broadway with Chris Farley's brother, actually, Kevin
wow.
Farley, over there. So we're gonna do that
Look
on
at
August,
you.
Wow.
Look at
August
you.
2nd. I
Hey,
came
check it
prepared.
out.
I came prepared.
See? Oh, look at that. Just don't forget about us when you meet, when,
Yeah, right.
when you get big, you know?
I'll make you guys flyers too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have that show coming up.
August
So
2nd.
that's definitely one of the biggest shows we've done so far. Kevin Farley. I mean, he's constantly working. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's been in the game for God knows how long. He's been in so many movies.
Yeah.
Have you been on stage with any of some of the big shots? Open up?
No one like too big. I've been on people, been in movies, TV shows, and stuff like that, but they're not really like the main star. They've done a lot of work. They're still very. I'm not down talking to anybody at all, but
Right. So this is going to be your first,
that's gonna be the biggest,
the
I think
closest
of.
you've been to
Yeah,
a comedian. Okay.
And that's going to be Thursday, August 2nd.
Yeah,
7
that's-
p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, that's at Broadway. That's
Broadway Comedy Club.
So that was fun, and his manager Roger Paul, who works here in New York, very nice guy, and it was very easy to. I thought it was gonna be very hard to book him, and it was just a simple phone call, very nice guy, and we just discussed
You'd be
everything.
surprised, yeah.
Yeah, and I was honestly, I was like, oh really? Like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
you sure? Okay, yeah, all right, cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm really trying to do is start pushing with producing, because I see a lot more results when I do that, because you're putting people on stage too, and I like helping out other comics, like
Right.
like the other gentleman performed there, Matt Nagan. He performs a lot in New York, and he gave me my first
He
shot.
looks familiar for some reason.
He does a lot on TV. Actually, he's actually been on. He does a lot of on Travel Channel, History Channel, like all that
Maybe
kind of
that's
stuff,
why
like
I've
those
seen
TV
him.
shows. Like,
Right,
he's actually
right.
constantly on there.
Yeah.
But he gave me my first shot in New York when I was 17. Like he gave me a shot at Greenwich Village.
Oh, wow.
So I every time I come down now, it's like obviously I'm gonna hit him
Yeah.
up to come on. because-
Yeah. One hand washes the other.
Yeah,
definitely, yeah. Okay. Do you have any advice for anybody who's trying to get into the business?
Yeah,
Comedians.
I mean, yeah, I guess the best advice is just, it's gonna sound so cliche and corny, but it's just do it, and you're gonna have the hardships. Everybody does. It's gonna suck. There's gonna be points where everyone wants to give up. If you want to give up, give up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you got to have that drive in the end. It's really, I guess the biggest thing is you got to know what you want, and just shoot for that, and just go over the bumps in the road as they come.
Yeah.
But yeah, really just don't stop. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I learned, because I've stopped a couple times. There were a couple times where I do hiatuses of a couple months not doing comedy,
Yeah.
or producing or whatever, and then when I almost I regret it afterwards, and I get back into it because I love it so much. But
Is the money good in comedy? I mean, of course we know once you hit.
it can be very good for some
Yeah.
people, but for most shows it's very average. You can't. It's definitely hard to make a living doing it.
Oh, that's
It's,
what I was gonna ask.
yeah.
Yes.
It's unless you're grinding all the
Grinding,
time
yeah.
and really
Every weekend you have three
Right.
shows every weekend. Yeah.
You got to get with the right bookers too, because some bookers don't even pay comics. They'll just get them for stage time, which is fine too, because some people just want the stage time, the exposure. But some bookers are cheap. It really helps who you work with too. You got to work with people who have been in the industry for a while and have their foot in the door better, because they know how to pay out. They know what comics want, and they reimburse you for your time is the thing. But it's hard to get those gigs for sure. You make more money producing for sure, because you're the one setting it
Right.
up,
Setting it up.
and booking the shows and all that. So you're the one in charge of the financials, I guess. at that
You're
point.
behind the scenes really doing
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
And so who's paying you for that, for producing?
A lot of times, what we do for a lot of clubs is a lot of times they'll keep the bar tab, and I'll get at door, or vice versa, whatever, or at door and 10% of the bar, or 50% door, 50% bar. It's all different clubs, But yeah, so it's usually like that. So with a venue like Broadway Comedy Club, you're looking at 200 seats at the downstairs main stage. So it depends, $15 a ticket. I mean, that's fair. Then you got to pay out the comedians, obviously, the people on my production team. So but still, you make it out more money than I would have if I just did a showcase or something like that. And quite a bit more, obviously. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, before we go, how can we get in contact with you? Let the people know how they can reach you, get in contact with you, social media, websites, anything.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have social media. I'm definitely not a social media guy. For what I do for booking.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. I used to be on social media, man.
What happened?
I'm not really a social media guy either.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just sick of hearing people's opinions too much. I just sometimes just hearing people complain and stuff. It just gets frustrating. It gets old.
You guys make a good point, because for the last year or so, I haven't been on it too much unless I have to go on it. But it
Right.
keeps you more focused on the now, and keeps you more focused on what you have to do. When you focus on social media a lot, you just looking at what other people are doing, and sometimes it kind of is a distraction or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But it's a good tool to have to market and
Absolutely.
promote yourself.
Very good. I
very
was gonna
good.
say I'm definitely not. It's definitely a great way to keep in touch, and get in touch with people.
So if someone wants to book you, let people know.
Yeah.
People-
What I do for booking, I always go through my email, which is my last. It's wheeler1223@gmail.com.
Okay.
Wheeler, WHEELER. Just my last name. It's very original.
And you don't have a website? Not
No website. I'm hoping to get a website up soon for Stephen Wheeler Presents, for once we start getting more shows established around this area. Like I said, I'm hoping that works out. The Sheridan over in Long Island, and Broadway, I have a pretty good thing going with them right there. And Eastville, I work with them too quite a bit. So
Wow.
yeah, so
Good for you.
hopefully we'll have that up soon. So maybe I'll come on down here again soon, and we'll get
Yeah,
rolling and let you
definitely.
guys
Sure.
know.
Let us know. Keep us updated.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you
very
for
much
being
for having
here.
me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. For
We
having
wish
me,
you
guys.
the best of luck with
Wish you the best of
everything.
luck.
I appreciate it.
Don't forget about us.
I never will. Thank you, guys.
All right. That wraps
All right.
another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann, alongside Nina Reisig. Take
All
care
right.
and God
Goodbye.
bless.